Howdy, howdy.
Hey up, probers.
And welcome to
But It Was Aliens.
the extraterrestrial comedy podcast where we probe holes in the knowledge of humanity. By that, I mean real-life alien incidents. We do this to convince humanity that aliens do exist, or more frequently, to make each other laugh. When I say we, I mean me, Kevin the Grey, and this chap alongside me, Granville Moonwalker. As I alluded to on the CERN episode, today we are going to be covering actual stargates. Did you think that you learned all there was to know about them last time?
Not even close. Not gonna lie, I've been looking forward to this episode.
I warn you at the beginning today that at the end of today's episode, I'm going to drop some real science on you which confirms that these portals are possible. So just hold that in your mind because things may get a little bumpy along the way.
Is it just me, or
Usually.
whenever you say Stargate, I get the He-Man theme song in my head?
That's just you, yeah.
I don't know why.
What?
Stargate. He-Man.
For some reason, I was thinking Superman rather than He-Man. Yet, when I tried to think of the tune,
You
I
got
got
the He-Man?
Nope, I got Indiana Jones. Da, 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 da. My mind, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and everyone not included within those labels. My mind. So first up today, we are going to head to Marca, Peru.
Peru.
I would just like to apologise in advance for today's episode because my pronunciations are going to be awful.
Are there going to be Peruvian flute bands in this episode?
Only if they come through a Stargate.
And do they summon the power of the guinea pig?
No.
Guinea pirate!
So Peru, near Lake Titicaca, is one... That's my new...
I'm the great Cornholio. I need tippy for my bunghole.
For my Titicaca.
Titicaca.
I want to set up the extraterrestrial tent there. Extraterrestrial towers on tour, son. We should go all around the country probing in extraterrestrial tent.
That'd be amazing.
So Lake Titicaca
That
is...
sounded horrendous.
What sounded horrendous? Go probing around the country, you and me in a tent. Didn't even occur to me. We could probe the shit out of the country. So
This episode's taking a turn already.
Lake Titicaca is one of Earth's most well-known and indeed widely suspected stargates. This place, Aramu Muru, was discovered by modern humanity in 1996 and is now known as the Gate of the Gods. It's, in essence, a giant stone door, and supposedly heroes of the ancient world would walk through this doorway to join their gods in the next life. The door is 7 meters high and wide, with a smaller door at its base. The site is protected by the Peruvian government, and digs at the site are limited. So who put it there? The most widely believed theory is that this site is Incan, but local legend says that the gate was created by aliens, and indeed, it does appear to have been created prior to the Incans. I'll be posting photos of each gate on our Instagram at But It Was Aliens podcast. And for you, Mooney, here is the Gate of the Gods.
Okay, so what I have in front of me is a huge a few huge stone slabs actually, but one of them is clearly a door.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks as if it was something else, but it's kind of been knocked down around it, and it's slightly slanted. So yes, this does look like a door.
Do you reckon someone really big tried to get through that door and they couldn't fit, say, Titicaca?
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
If the heroes of the ancient world would walk through this door,
Yep.
who would you class as a hero to walk through that door today?
The Rock.
Okay.
First name that came to my head, Dwayne Johnson. You get through there, sir. You're a beast of the modern world.
I was going to say Thierry Henry.
Yeah, Thierry Henry, Dennis Bergkamp would be
Yep.
equally worthy. Not sure they'd win in a fight against The Rock. I mean, if The Rock was fighting Hercules, I'd like The Rock's chances.
Which version of Hercules?
Kevin Sorbo.
Yeah, The Rock's winning. That prick is going down.
What was the dude in...
Xena, warrior princess, is going through that door.
Yep, and her little mate. Oh, I've forgotten the name. The little blonde lady.
Oh.
All I want to say is Gabrielle, but I don't think it is. Apologies. I used to really like that show when I was little, like really little.
Same.
Buffy would walk through it? Yes, she would. Don't you give me that.
Willow,
Willow would get left outside because she turned evil?
still a hero.
No, that's the exact opposite of a hero, actually.
If she would have ended Xander, she would have been a hero.
Debatable, but I'll allow it. Spike walks through it. Angel walks through it. Faith walks through it. We're just going to get into a massive Buffy conversation here, aren't we?
Charisma
Carpenter.
Walk through it.
Absolutely.
Okay, let's get off Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Mike Myers walks through it.
Ooh. Yeah. Al Pacino walks through it.
Yeah. You know, we discussed... We're getting on such a tangent.
We really are.
In the LHC CERN episode, we discussed whether we would walk through a gate ourselves, and you said yes, and you'd take a weapon because you're violent, and I said no. I think if it looked like that gate, I'd be more willing.
I'd walk through that.
Yeah. I wouldn't need to send you... I mean, I might send you first just to check it out for me, and like pop your head back to let me know it's all right, but I'd be more willing on that one.
Tell you what would stop me walking through a gate.
Brick.
There was a spider on the door. You're going first.
There's going to be so many spiders. Yeah, I'm fine with that. As long as there isn't some sort of anti-god demon type thing on the other side. That might be a problem.
I think I would much rather deal with that than spiders.
As long as the spiders aren't poisonous, because I'm not fond of those ones.
I don't even care. They could be non-poisonous.
So yeah, we don't piss about on this show. We get straight to the good stuff. There is a legend attached to this Stargate. When Spanish conquistadors arrived in Peru to loot the Inca tribes, you bastards, an Incan priest named Aramu Muru of the Seven Rays Monastery pegged it to hide the valuable golden sun disk which had fallen from the sky. The priest ran to the Hayumarca Mountains and placed the disc into a hole in the doorway. The priest then disappeared through the gate, never to be seen again. Today, the doorway has a small circular depression in it about the size of a hand or golden disc. We just don't have the key to open the door. I'm just going to briefly throw in here that famous ancient artifact resembling a plane, that was Incan? Did these ancient Incan folks receive alien astronaut visitors?
It does look like a plane. I am going to throw something out there.
Yes.
What if it wasn't ancient astronaut visitors, but planes that had got lost in the Bermuda Triangle had gone back through time?
You can't go back through time without going through space.
Had gone back
They're
through
astronauts.
space and time and appeared in their time.
Very interesting
Golden
idea.
disc that fell from the sky, a wheel.
Another idea that's just popped into my head. Hollow Earth. Things are flying around in there.
Flew up.
Maybe Admiral Dicky Bird. When he flew through that hole and came out, he was in the wrong time for a little bit, flew back in, flew back out.
So we have the story of the priest that opens the door and disappears.
Yes. Never to be seen again.
It's going to be one of those things that, where did that come from?
Ready to go.
Is it handed down through Incan legend?
Yes.
Or is it the Spanish legend that says it? Because
Both.
that possibly could have just been a door with a lock.
And he's still
And
in
he's
there now.
unlocked it, yeah, and he just couldn't get out the other end.
He got trapped.
Yeah.
They forgot to put a lock on both sides. So
Or
once the door closed,
He got out the other end, was still legging it, and unfortunately something happened to him and he met his peril.
plane fell on him
Might have ran into an alligator
in a gully.
or a jaguar or another Incan tribe.
Inca dinka doo. Was that the Donkey Kong cartoon? I think it was, wasn't it?
Was it?
I believe so.
Or was it Crash Bandicoot?
Could have been both. Because I didn't play Crash Bandicoot at the time, and I can remember seeing it on TV, but that's not to say it wasn't in both.
Who knows?
Obviously, I have more to show and tell today. In 2007, 40 feet deep within Lake Michigan, Professors Brian Abbott and Mark Holley were exploring shipwrecks when they came across a stone formation. Woo! Not only was there an underwater Stonehenge, but they also discovered what would turn out to be a boulder with a carving of a mastodon on it. Mastodons are believed to have been extinct for at least 10,000 years. Also, rest in peace, Vader.
I was trying to think of the Power Rangers theme song for when the Mastodon comes out.
Yeah, I'm never going to remember that. I was very young when Power Rangers was around.
I can remember the Green Ranger theme song, I think,
Nope.
but not when the Mastodon came. It might have just come out to the typical one that everything else came out to.
My mum wouldn't let me have Power Rangers toys. She said they were shit.
They might have been. I never had any.
Oh, I mean the Power Rangers in general.
I just remember watching the show.
But I loved Turtles. She'd let me have them. Cowabunga!
Again, what Captain Planet just came in my head.
He's a hero.
Sorry, Mastodon Rock.
You did what on a rock? We don't know currently whether the rocks were there before or after the lake formed. This site is closely associated with Native Americans. Meanwhile, backing up the Stargate theory, several people have gone missing in this area. In 1891, the Thomas Hume, a schooner boat, disappeared along with all 7 of its crew. In 1921, 11 people aboard the Rosa Belle disappeared without a trace, but the boat was found floating, unpopulated, on the lake. In 1937, while on board the O.M. McFarland, Captain Donna Kebab retired to his quarters. 3 hours later, the second mate went to wake his captain. Finding the door locked from the inside, he broke down the door to find the captain missing. All the windows were locked shut. Had all these people been transported through the Stargate? Again, I'll post photos, but here you are, Mooney.
Okay, so the first photo we have is underwater of, like Kev said, a rock formation. Looks more like pillars.
Yeah.
So as if a building
Something's
had
definitely been
sunk.
built down there, hasn't it? Or sunk.
Built down there or sunk over time.
Without doubt, man-made.
And next to it is a rock of an elephant carved on it. That
Mastodon!
is not a mastodon. That is an elephant.
It's got like woolly-esque lines on it to try and...
That's muscle lines. It's an elephant.
It's
Ladies
a
and gentlemen,
mastodon!
It's just an
Look
elephant.
at the face!
Elephant.
It's a fucking mastodon.
Turning into me, ain't you? The captain who was in his room, could it be possible that someone was in that room with him,
and...
killed him, chucked him out the window,
And...
locked it, hid under the floorboards,
Surely they'd have found him at some
secret
point.
hatch, got out?
I'll be honest with you. It's not beyond the realms of possibility. I'd be surprised, but who knows? Probably more likely that he went for a Stargate, though.
If he went through a Stargate, did it just appear in his room?
No.
Like, did it appear out of nowhere?
The idea is the gate generates like a field, and so it would be shooting up from below the surface when they sail over it at that exact moment.
So wouldn't anything else go through the Stargate?
It depends on how it's programmed.
So
If
it's only programmed to take human souls.
Or flesh, perhaps.
And where are his
Souls?
clothes?
It didn't say that they weren't on the floor. I mean, it's the captain's quarters. Obviously, he had a wardrobe with his stuff in it.
True. I'll let you off there.
In Sedona, Arizona, there is a site known as the Doorway of the Gods. Atop a mountain lays a large red arch. Locals say that occasionally blue light emanates from this arch. This one is said to be a mysterious interdimensional portal that can alter time. There is a story about 3 Indians in the 1800s playing around this arch. One ran through and disappeared. Then, many years later, people were testing this legend by throwing rocks through and nothing happened. An elderly lady decided to throw a live rabbit through. The rabbit disappeared! I couldn't find too many academic sources on this one, but there are stories of people looking through it and seeing different skies as if travelling through time or space, or space-time. There are said to be lots of crystals in the surrounding rocks, and Sedona was at one point Nawanda, a sacred city to the Native American people.
I call bullshit.
Whoa! Whoa!
Bullshit.
I find that offensive.
And the reason I call bullshit is because if this supposedly happened,
Yes.
this would have been tested to Kingdom Come.
And it was.
There would
Rocks
be
didn't go through. A rabbit did.
military people there testing all of this shit.
Military rabbit.
It would be cordoned off by the government. Like, there'd be Black Hawk helicopters, tents,
Have you
people
been there?
in suits.
How did you know there
everything.
isn't?
That's how I went to America. No one was there when I walked through. I got through with no fucking problems.
So there you go.
How
It's
do you
true.
think I got this tan?
An Arizona tan. I don't know why I'm saying Arizona like that.
What would possess you to throw a rabbit?
Magician.
Like, that... It takes it too far.
The comment I made earlier about flesh travelling through,
It holds up. It holds weight there.
I'd actually forgot this bit was coming up.
But at the same time, what possesses you to throw a rabbit?
Well, okay, I can probably answer that one quite reasonably. When, and I'm not saying I agree with this, but when humans are testing products, for example, beauty products, they tend to test them on animals first.
Why didn't you just get the local dickhead and throw him through it?
That's probably what they did after testing it on the rabbit.
But what's the data? What are the findings?
The rabbit disappeared.
I suppose they're not going to tell us whether or not he disappeared. He just kind of...
That's a little bit.
Sorry, yeah. Don't know what happened to him.
We haven't seen him for months. Yeah, he just,
Legged it.
you know what he's like. He gets carried away, doesn't he? Old Keith.
Still on probation.
We've covered Stonehenge extensively in a past episode, so we know that it was made by Merlin and giants.
Bullshit.
You were the one who said giants. But it's also said that these monoliths create a high energy to power the Stargate. Remember, we had the vanishing hippie-like group witnessed by a policeman there around 1971. I didn't think we needed to cover old ground, so next we are going to look at the ancient Sumerian Stargate theorised to be under the Euphrates, or Euphrates, not entirely sure how that's pronounced, apologies, but I'm going for Euphrates River. A famous Sumerian seal depicts a Sumerian god emerging from a portal into our world. I'll let you look at this seal as I continue, Mooney. There are theories out there that the Bible itself, as well as earlier Sumerian texts, refer to an abyss at the bottom of the Euphrates River from which both Enki-Ea, a deity, arrived on Earth and from which locusts would spawn, perhaps during the end days.
Welcome to the end of days.
Time is on my side. Yes, it is! Sorry, I can help myself. Just to refresh memory, that Anunnaki are referred to in ancient Sumerian, Akkadian, Assyrian, and Babylonian mythology and are, depending upon your interpretation, deities or aliens who visited ancient civilization. Sumerian depictions of Anunnaki king Ninurta show Ninurta wearing a watch. It also looks like Ninurta is pressing a button, perhaps to operate a Stargate, and wearing a symbol similar to our symbol for radiation, perhaps due to the high energies involved in operating a Stargate. Some ancient astronaut theory suggests that the Anunnaki created hybrids of themselves, humans, to help mine for metals such as gold. Obviously, Sumer and Babylonia later became Iraq.
Sorry, I didn't hear half of that. So the reason I started laughing
Ninurta?
is because every time you said Ninurta, you sounded like a transcript on a computer. Like it didn't know how to pronounce it properly, so it just goes da-da-da-da-da, Ninurta. Da-da-da-da-da-da, Ninurta.
It's a strange name to me. I'm not used to that name. So every time I see it in my notes, I'm like, how do I say that? Ninurta.
It was literally that stop.
Oh no, I've gone cross-eyed.
It sounded so computerized that it cracked me. Alright, sorry. You got me to look at that picture while you carried on.
I did, yes.
Of
The person coming through the portal.
yes. Now
A famous seal.
that could indeed be someone coming through a portal.
Yep.
It could also be two people holding up a mirror and someone seeing their reflection.
But there's like waves that indicate portal.
Waves that could be the decoration of the mirror.
Nah, bro.
Or it could also just be a doorway and this person's
So
about to walk
if
through
you
it.
look at the two people they're holding sticks. The sticks are not connected to the portal.
Just in that depiction. It could be a doorway.
And the
But not a
person coming through looks different and is purple.
It's just a mirror. Could be their queen. That's why she's in purple.
Get on board, you dickhead.
So humans were created to mine.
Yes.
So we're dwarves.
Sort of.
I mean, if you look at all these other civilizations or species that are 7 foot and 8
Yep.
foot tall,
Yeah.
we would be dwarves.
quite tiny in comparison. Yep.
And there's a few that kind of had their way with humans. That's why we have like basketball players. So this picture of this guy,
Ninurta. Sorry, hold on. King Ninurta. Wearing a watch, yeah.
yeah, that is a watch, isn't it?
It is indeed a watch. I've given you a...
Is it a watch? Or
It's a bloody watch,
is
yeah.
it a piece of jewellery that happens to look like a watch and watches were designed from this piece of jewellery?
It's a verified watch. Verified by me.
Okay. Kev verifies it's a watch.
Yep.
I think it's a piece of jewellery. And all watches were created from it.
It's a watch.
So are we saying that somewhere in Iraq there is some ancient alien technology?
We may well be saying that. Interesting thought. Because things have happened in Iraq down the recent years.
Yeah.
And it's not really ever been fully explained.
Why they're there.
People suggested maybe it was oil, but other people suggested it was because they had weapons of mass destruction, which
of
were never
mass
found.
Destruction.
Maybe.
What if these weapons weren't nukes that everyone assumed that they would
What
be?
if it wasn't a weapon at all? Maybe it was a portal or Stargate.
Oh no, I've gone cross-eyed.
Our frenemies over at Ancient Aliens have some thoughts on this. I'm now going to play you a little 3.5-minute clip from Season 10, Episode 10, made available on YouTube by the History Channel, entitled The Forbidden Zones. And we're not talking about erogenous areas.
They ain't forbidden.
They've been accessed many times.
Iraq,
In a tent.
March 19th, 2003. The United States military begins its shock and awe air campaign over the city of Baghdad. It is a preemptive strike aimed to overthrow Iraqi dictator Saddam Hussein, who the government believes is in possession of weapons of mass destruction.
Stargate.
Saddam Hussein wanted to make Iraq a regional and perhaps a global superpower. He spoke about himself as the new Nebuchadnezzar.
Is that Popey?
That is Pope.
Nebuchadnezzar II was the great Babylonian warrior king, most famously known for rebuilding and expanding the Babylonian Empire in the 6th century BC. His armies conquered Egypt, as well as ransacking and destroying Solomon's temple in 597 BC.
I was about to say, why does the name Nebuchadnezzar ring a bell?
Went nuts.
Matrix.
He believed he was the reincarnation of Nebuchadnezzar. So he ordered massive reconstruction of Babylon, which was done with bricks bearing his name on them. Everyone would come to respect the ancient Nebuchadnezzar and the new Nebuchadnezzar.
The missing piece to the puzzle of why we went to war with Iraq is the understanding that Saddam Hussein sought to outdo what Nebuchadnezzar had accomplished in his earlier life. The ultimate accomplishment of Nebuchadnezzar was the opening of the fiery furnace. Nebuchadnezzar
Stargate.
had gone to Jerusalem, looted and leveled the Temple of Solomon, and he brought the wise men of the temple back to Babylon with him. What happened in the story is absolutely amazing. These 3 wise men enter this fiery furnace. Not only did they come back out in perfect condition, they weren't alone. They came back with an extraterrestrial visitor in tow. In today's terms, we would obviously call this a Stargate or a portal.
Stargate, baby.
Saddam knew this.
There's one theory that the Iraq War was actually a war about a Stargate. Saddam Hussein, so the theory goes, got access to this Stargate.
One of those things that sounds so fucking mental.
Was that why the Allied powers went in?
But
It sounds far-fetched, but this theory is widely believed.
Widely. Is it possible the United States military was pursuing more than weapons of mass destruction?
Yes, it
when
is.
they invaded Iraq?
Yep.
Could something of great significance, perhaps a portal to another world, have been found amongst the chaos?
Yes.
And if there are truths about extraterrestrial involvement with our planet hidden in forbidden zones, just what would happen when the truth is finally revealed?
our minds would blow.
I wouldn't be hugely surprised.
Well, that explains Iraq.
I love how I suggest it to you and you're like, meh. Popey suggests it to you and you're
It
like,
wasn't Pope.
it wasn't Georgia, was it? Who was it?
No, it was Pope. I mean, it was literally just the music in the background that got me. That's all they needed. If you would have had that, I'd have been on board straight away, son.
All right, I'm going to put some music on. Just get real comfortable, baby.
That's all you need. Just should have lulled me into it. But you didn't.
I got an alien ninja.
I still need to listen to that album.
You haven't done it?
Damn. I totally
Oh,
forgot.
no.
All right. I'm going to do it.
Not now, you're not.
Not now.
This documentary basically suggested that the Iraq War was not about weapons of mass destruction.
WMDs, baby!
which, as we know, were never publicly found, but because of stargates.
Stargate.
One slight caution though, folks. In that clip, they actually mistranslated the text on the brick. It actually says something along the lines of Babylon being recreated like Nebuchadnezzar, rather than suggesting Hussein was the son of Nebuchadnezzar. I think Ancient Aliens also covered stargates around season 7, episode 1, 2, which, believe it or not, I hadn't watched whilst writing these research notes, but I went back and watched before we started recording. More went on in Iraq than we know. Does this theory explain it? And supposedly, a stargate was found in Baghdad in the 1920s, to which we have a photo of the entrance and the gate itself. The theory goes that Hussein was going to reveal the alien origins of humankind, which is what led to the Bush administration going to Iraq, stopping this information release and taking control of any technology found. Looks like the bloody film, doesn't it?
So what I'm looking at is the Iraq Stargate, which was uncovered in Baghdad in 1920. What it looks like to me is a massive doorway.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
they're bigger than 7 foot,
giant
aren't they?
doorway. If that's a doorway for something to come in and out of, I don't want to know what is coming in and out of that
I'll
doorway.
tell you what's coming out of that. A mastodon!
And then I have another picture to the left. I take it that's an artist depiction of the Stargate?
No, that's an actual photo.
What?
Yeah.
I said to the left, sorry, to the right.
Yeah, they're both photos.
I need to look at this one. Okay, so what I can see in this one that doesn't really look too much like a real photo, there is a giant circle
Or
with
gate.
triangles around the outside of it pointing in, and someone standing inside or sitting inside it. I don't know if he's sitting on some rubble or something, and someone just
Yeah,
standing
so basically
beside
this is all fallen in and they've sort of excavated it and found a gate inside.
But I don't know if that's a gate or they've just found a massive circle.
That's a gate inside.
They found a ring.
A star ring?
A giant ring. They found the giant's ring piece. A Stargate. Chocolate starfish!
Oh my. There are even more of these stargates out there. The Gate of the Sun was constructed possibly by the ancient Tiahuanaco. Right, let me just slow this down. Tiahuanaco. Tiahuanaco. Tiahuanaco, that sounds good. Culture of Bolivia. Similar legends are attached to this Stargate in that legend states that the sun god, Viracocha, possibly Viracocha, but I want to say Coca. So Viracocha appeared in Tiahuanaco.
That's exactly what went through my head.
Through the gate. This Stargate may be 14,000 years old and actually depicts humans wearing what look like rectangle-shaped helmets. Astronauts, maybe? Again, we have a photo of this one. It's 9 foot 8 inches tall and 13 foot wide and was found in the 1800s laying on the floor. It's now being put back up but isn't believed to be in its original place, which may be why it no longer appears to be working. Designs below the central figure depict celestial cycles. This one dates around 500 to 950 CE.
Okay, so this just looks like a normal doorway.
Or gate.
Just in the middle of nowhere.
Stargate.
But he did say it's not in its original place.
Stargate.
I'm starting to think that back in the day, people just got lavish and just built massive
No.
castles and thrones and Taj Mahals and
Slow your
stuff
stray
like that.
thoughts.
So their doorways are just massive.
Doorways to other worlds.
And now that
other worlds.
the buildings themselves have been demolished or something like that, they're just left there.
What
I mean,
if-
this could essentially just be a piece of art left in a random place. The same way that people do stupid art now, like a fucking banana peel on a fucking canvas. Maybe this was their art that they just left in random places for the world.
I'm going to make
Except
an NFT of that.
This is fucking art.
Right. Imagine if every time you walk through a doorway, it is a Stargate and you're walking in to a parallel universe. Everything is exactly the same apart from one tiny little detail that you might not recognize at first.
Do you one better? Every time you walk through a door, you're walking into the future.
Well, that's true.
I know.
Every
Bitch.
every millisecond, in fact, far smaller measurements than that, you are in the future. Yet, what you think
Essentially,
is
does
in
that
the
make me a
past.
time traveller?
Everything that you're seeing is in the past.
That is true. But am I a time traveller?
Well, technically, we're all travelling through space and time.
We're just energy waves floating.
There's another.
I am neither here or there. I am now.
God damn it. There's another in Sri Lanka, specifically in Ranmasu Uyaina, which has what is believed to be a star chart carved into the face of a large rock. It is said that symbols carved into the rock are a code which opens the gate. Meanwhile, there are 4 stone chairs opposite this stone where people may have sat waiting to greet visiting aliens, or even suggesting that this whole thing travelled between universes.
Does that mean if we find the rock, we find the answers?
Possibly.
Let's go find him.
Okay, but you're talking to him first. I'm nervous. What I find interesting about this one is that the name of the star chart is Sequala Chakraya, the rotating circle of the universe. Many Native American tales have stargates represented by rotating circles. There is one more really interesting one that I'm not going to tell you about further than it's in Abydos, Egypt, because the way it was discovered is absolutely bonkers and forms part of a much larger probe itself. Suffice to say, it's there that Egyptian artifacts such as helicopters and flying saucers were found. Meanwhile, there are similarities between the Sri Lanka, Peru and Egypt stargates, specifically including all being in the vicinity of a waterway, having been created by sophisticated engineering despite their ancient age and charts found. We are yet to understand the star charts in Sri Lanka, to which we also have a photo.
I believe that they were all created in the vicinity of a waterway so that the workers could just get a drink when they were thirsty.
You should not drink from waterways. Clean that water.
Maybe they did.
Maybe they didn't.
Maybe they had a gully.
Maybe the energy from the water powers the stargates.
So is this the star chart I'm looking at?
Yeah.
Okay, so what I'm looking at is a giant rock, which looks like a giant door has been drawn on it. And there are some lines going vertically down. So it really does just looks like a giant wooden door has been drawn on a giant rock.
It's a star chart, man.
How we can tell this is a star chart, I have no idea.
Because it's a star chart.
I can see
Stars.
very faintly
Stars.
in
In
the
a
middle
chart.
of these horizontal lines, vertical lines, sorry,
Yeah.
there are miniature circles with plus symbols inside them.
Yeah.
And that's it. That is the star chart, apparently.
So if you know your astronomy and your astrology, and we do both, this is clearly a star chart.
Repeat that again.
If you know your astronomy and your astrology,
Do you believe in astronomy?
do you believe in astrology?
Yes. Do you believe in astronomy?
I'm in the middle of a probe here. Can you not ask such probing questions? Star chart. So, moving on. It's not just Earth that we found stargates.
Typical dick.
Upon? What dick?
Whatever the sign you are.
Chip dick.
Whatever sign you are.
I'm a Libra.
Yeah.
What's that
Typical
got?
dick.
Pardon?
Typical dick.
I'm balanced.
Oh, so
Son?
you believe in them, do you?
Yeah, no. It's not just Earth that we found stargates. Oh, no. YouTube channel UFO Mania have actually identified a functioning stargate on the moon.
No, they haven't.
Alongside the wizards. That wizard came from the moon. These folks noticed an anomaly in a real NASA photo from Apollo 17, so they enhanced the area and added a filter, and boom! Out popped a clear stargate. How do we know that it's functioning? I have no idea! I guess it has what appears to be an active ring around it. Mooney, I'll show you the photo now. Explain that, son. Explain that. Right, next section.
I have a picture of the moon.
You do?
And there is a blue and green circle placed in the bottom left hand of the moon.
Well, I don't know why you're saying
So-
placed, because that's an actual photo.
They placed a filter over this picture,
Well, I didn't.
and the filter happens to have the blue and green circle,
It's a portal.
and they've just placed it there. And so that is exactly what I'm looking at. A doctored picture of the moon.
What if I told you that Musk put that there?
Still doctored.
You're doctored?
Let's go there.
I'll admit that bit wasn't my best piece, but just remember how I started this episode. The owner of the Psychic Focus blog has elaborated upon this Stargate on the moon. When asked about the Stargate, or elevator to the moon, they said,
I see people that look like astronauts using it. I feel like we go up there frequently using it. But I do not see us taking anything there or bringing anything back. It feels like we travel very fast through this elevator, but it is like the elevator itself pressurizes you, that you do not feel the G-force behind it. I will say that the one on the North Pole, now that I am honed in on it, is having a man-made feeling to it, and it is controlled by some kind of a magnetic field that can be turned off and on.
so yes, they are saying that there's also a Stargate on the North Pole. Utterly convincing evidence here, I think you'll agree.
Taking your voice out of that, bullshit.
And with my voice in it.
Absolute bullshit. So what they've done is they've made up a story about the doctored picture of the moon, and this is that story. And there's also one on the North Pole, apparently.
Yeah.
Is there a film where
Next.
there's one in the North Pole?
No, it's just next to the entrance to the Hollow Earth.
On Stargate, the TV series, is there one on the North Pole?
I don't actually recall. I didn't really watch it. Again, I was very young when that was on. How
Same.
old are you, son?
Younger than you, what are you on about?
Got a bit defensive there, didn't you? I'm on to you.
I think, admittedly, my Facebook says I'm like 114.
Sounds about right.
I'm 112. I don't even know if that was a good show, to be honest.
It's got a cult following.
Again, I don't know if that was a good show. This blogger, fuck me.
Whoa!
Do they have a cult following?
No.
How many people, can you tell how many people follow their blog?
13.
It's not to say that having a low number of followers doesn't make you
A
legit.
low number of really intense and rich and powerful followers.
And doesn't say that you don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
But this is bullshit.
Whoa.
And with your voiceover, it's absolute bullshit. I haven't called bullshit in a long time.
You've called it about 16 times today.
I know, that's what I mean. Feels like a long time. So I feel
Come on, Negative Nancy, get your dick into it.
Woo! Bullshit.
The idea of the moon gate is that we can send people straight there, which is why we haven't been flying there via rocket and space shuttle anymore. The psychic went on to say that aliens are on the dark side of the moon, but won't disturb us unless we venture into their territory, which is pretty similar to what we have covered when we probed the Mars Defense Force. It all connects. I've touched on several Stargates today, but there are a few more I just didn't have time to cover. For example, Göbekli Tepe in Turkey.
Is that not Göbekli?
I don't know. It's another one. It's another stone temple-like site consisting of many pillars and likely an old archway. Due to time constraints, I'm going to move on to science and then summarise.
So, do you know what always bugs me about psychics?
They never know you're coming.
Their powers are so varied in terms of, I can tell you what's up on the moon. Can't tell you anything else.
You can't tell me what's in the suitcase.
Yeah. Steffi Cohen Mark II. I've tuned into this Stargate.
There's a cat person over there.
What's in that bag? I don't know.
It's beyond my powers. I can tell you what's happening on the moon. What's happening next door? There's a next door? Can't tell you that. That would be too easy.
There's people in there. How many? What are they wearing? Just give me colours.
White. Or it may be black.
I'm sensing an array of colours. I cannot pinpoint. It's just too many.
I love her. She's brilliant. NASA in 2015 admitted publicly that they have spent more than a decade researching what they deemed access points to places outside our galaxy, time, and even our universe. Basically, Stargates. NASA, and this is real, straight from NASA's own website, launched a mission in 2015 analysing magnetic portals, or electron diffusion regions as they call them. Basically, these portals are where the magnetic field of the Earth connects to the magnetic field of the Sun, creating a literal, uninterrupted path. These flux transfer events occur in the outskirts of Earth's magnetosphere every 8 minutes. Portal, Stargate, call it what you want, they are officially real. If you can have mini ones, surely there is a way to make bigger ones we can actually travel through. Just like quantum wormholes, as we discussed previously. Have these sites on Earth worked out how to harness these scientific powers?
Quantum leap, bitch.
What a show.
I mean, it doesn't surprise me that NASA have been investigating this. This is the kind of thing
it's real.
I would assume that they would investigate.
I mean, they should.
I mean, again, you're looking at, theoretically, you're trying to check all this shit out. Is it possible?
But it's not theoretical, they've found them.
No, I'm saying, theoretically, you would be doing this, and they are doing it. So I'm not surprised that they're doing it and testing this shit out, trying to find out if this shit is possible. Could they do it in the future?
Can we make them bigger?
Like, I'm not surprised that that stuff is happening. Now,
Then.
the psychic is bullshit.
Let the psychic go. We've gone on to science now. These things are real.
I mean, do you want me to conclude?
No, I haven't summarised yet.
No,
Calm down.
because I'm unsure on what you want me to conclude.
I want you to
I'll
conclude
get to that in a bit.
that this is aliens. So to summarise, we've probed Hayumarca, Peru's Gate of the Gods, and covered the story of the priest fleeing the Spanish and travelling through the gate, never to be seen again. We know that the Incans left behind artifacts suggesting ancient astronaut contact. We then dived under Lake Michigan to check out an underwater Stonehenge and learned about many seamen vanishing as if they'd been swallowed. Then we looked at the doorway of the gods in Sedona, Arizona, to which a rabbit disappeared when thrown through.
Yes,
We touched on the disappearing hippies of Stonehenge before visiting the Stargate under the Sumerian Euphrates River, which linked to a Stargate found in Iraq, which may have been a motivating factor in the wars there. We then saw the Bolivian reconstructed Gate of the Sun, with similar stories of gods visiting through it, before moving on to the Sri Lankan Ranmasu Uyana Stargate and Star Chart. We heard about a Stargate on the moon, backed up by a psychic, and finally, we learned that portals are actually real, just as we previously learnt that wormholes are possible. So this shit could all be real. Anything you want to go over before we conclude, Mooney?
The doorways
Real.
that are just kind of out there, sitting on their own with nothing else around them.
Yeah.
Some of these I don't believe are Stargates at all. They're literally just the remnants of giant buildings that were created. Nothing starry, only gatey.
Don't lie to me. Do you believe?
Do I believe that aliens appeared through Stargates on Earth?
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Are you saying that it was aliens?
No,
Well, that some of these Stargates were made by aliens and that aliens have visited us, or we them, through these Stargates. Are you saying that it was aliens? Aliens.
As I was saying, I do not believe
Let me
that
just cut you off there.
aliens
Are you saying that it was aliens?
created these Stargates and transported or used them to
Visited
come to
or
Earth.
were visited through?
However,
Okay, I'm in.
do I believe that Stargates are possible? Yes. Scientifically, yes. Do I think wormholes are possible? Scientifically, yes. Do I think the war in Iraq was over a Stargate? Potentially. They had very, very convincing background music. Now, for this episode,
Yes.
am I saying it was aliens? I am saying it was not aliens. Stargates are possible. Are any of these things Stargates? Probably not. Could they be real? Probably so. Have any appeared on Earth? Probably so. In our lifetime? Maybe. Would we ever know about it? Probably not. So, Stargates, real. Are these aliens? No. Possibly humans, though. Travelling back and forth through time. But alien species? No.
I mean, we'd never really honed down on whether we think time-travelling humans from way in the future are aliens, because they could have mutated beyond what we consider human into a new species.
But then would we be aliens to them because they would see themselves as human?
No,
Therefore, they're not aliens, we are.
They've travelled through time and space.
To come back and have a look at aliens.
So I'm not saying that it was aliens. This one was a bit of a scattergun. I took everything not big enough to do a full episode on from my research into CERN's Stargate, condensed it into a bite-sized chunk to look at an overall picture of Stargates.
Bite-sized.
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 Each bit was bite-sized, but there was lots of bites. A few of them are really intriguing, like the Peru one and the Tales of Iraq, which, whilst clearly sensationalised, do capture the imagination somewhat, but overall I couldn't buy into these things being real and the world managing to cover it up. If we have Stargates, how could we, with our understanding today, even begin to work out how to stop them from working? So until a working one is found, I'm going to sit in my sceptical tent and say no. Saying all that, I do love all the evidence of modern technology and ancient artifacts, so that's an avenue for a future probe, perhaps. Anything you want to add, Mr. Negative Nancy?
The psychic was bullshit!
Bang on form. That's today's show, folks. Thank you, as always, for listening to our little podcast. If you want to probe us, we are on the Twitter.
Say it with me, people.
On the Twitter!
At But It Was Aliens. On the main show, a new episode will be with you each and every Thursday. Meanwhile, over on our Patreon, over at patreon.com/butitwasaliens, we are dropping monthly bonus episodes where we probe the paranormal. So you can drop a few pounds in the probe pot and help us to buy better shit, to pay our bills, to get prostitutes. What?
Probstitutes.
Extraterrestrial ones. That's Granville's bad habit there. He snorts them like cocaine. Gets to that navel. But until next time, have you ever thrown a rabbit only to be confronted with the horror that the rabbit has disappeared? Is that where magicians get them? If you need the answers, the truth is up there. #probe.